where, of course, you are not particularly aligned with one side and to the detriment of the other side. We are not, alignment doesn't mean you have to be married to, like it's a marriage whereby if you're married to this person, you cannot see this person. That is the beauty of diplomacy and sovereignty, is that it allows you.
It's negotiated.
It's negotiated, and it's a win-win. It allows you, to relate with anybody you want. Kenya is free to pursue relationship, of course, with the US, with the EU, with China, with countries like Iran and Israel. It's not, we are not answerable. We are not answerable to a particular country on why we are relating with other countries. But of course, I understand that when you have been given this designation, you have to be more transparent. You have to be, in terms of issues of governance, you really must be accountable to your citizens first, not just to, and this calls for public diplomacy, where I think in Nairobi, has to be, transparent to its citizens. About issues of human rights, and some of these things are legitimate concerns. Human rights issues are legitimate concerns, not just to America, but even to Kenyans. So Kenyans are talking about some of these issues, and in terms of even, of course, I know cases where we have had some people being deported back to their country. So some of these issues are not just of concern to America, but of concern to America. These are legitimate concerns, and so Nairobi has to look at itself and make a decision that and they have to do the right thing for its citizens, and of course in the eyes of the international community. In the eyes of the international community, we must be seen as a country that respects its rules, its constitution, the country that safeguards its citizens, human rights of its citizens, and of course human rights of other people as well.
But of course, I mean, the issue of human rights and misuse of, the arms and the funds that come with, that status is also in question. But then, Dr. Again, when you look at it this way, Kenya enjoys some particular positions. We have got so many offices here in Gigiri, Nairobi, call it. This perhaps also influences our status globally on which position Kenya can be given, and country X or Y can easily miss such positions.
Yes, Kenya is very strategic in the region. When it comes to one, it's the gateway to East Africa. We are also of the UN offices in Africa. We happen to have that privileged position to be the headquarters of the UNEP and also the Habitat here in Nairobi, and others are yet to relocate in the course of the year. So it's really a diplomatic hub as it is a country, and therefore we, for that reason, therefore enjoy some of those privileges that come with that status of being the only office in the global south, especially in Africa, with that status of having the headquarters of the UN offices, agencies here in the capital. Yes, it is important that as a country, we also are able to pursue that which comes in line with being a hegemon also, maybe in the region, and being able again, just like I think he was taken out of context when he said that Kenya can be the bridge to the East and the West. So it stands at that position, therefore, in line of being home to the UNEP and other UN bodies in the country, that we can play a very pivotal role, which we do. And even when we look at the foreign missions in capital, we happen to have over 109 missions in capital. So that means, therefore, as a country, we have a very strategic position, and also not just diplomatically, but also in terms of positioning. When you also look at the US as a strategic partner also in the country, it does enjoy and has its base in Lamu, where it's able to have a lot of its security concerns taken care of. So it is very strategic, and for both countries in this world today, it's all about having every state to benefit.
Yeah.
That mutual benefit that comes from relations with one another. Yes.
Could it be the reason why President William Ruto is a bit comfortable, even the way he responded to that fact? He knows the position of Kenya and what we really offer, again, globally.
Yes, he is, and that cannot be gainsaid, really, that as a country, and that is why he sits there and understanding that, yes, we are very strategic in Africa, in this region, and even with the U.S., Kenya-U.S. relations, just like my colleague said, that those relations will continue to strengthen with time. So yes, this is normal, where states, again, as it came out, yes, this is a political statement, but that doesn't mean that our relations are threatened in any way. No.
Okay. Then, I mean, somebody would argue, and even Senator Risch said that when President William Ruto said that it was the new world order, you know, the Arctic's the world new order, to Washington, that was like crossing the red line. Like, hey, hold a minute. Either you retract that statement or you put it another way.
Yeah, anyway, so President Ruto is Kenya's topmost diplomat.
Yes.
And of course, when he speaks for the nation, for the state. But he's also a politician, of course, and of course, as we said before, he looks at the interest of the citizens, you know, and so between now and you know, during his time, you know, he will have to define, you know, of course, our foreign policy and how we relate with other nations. And so what I want to encourage Washington is to you know, to basically continue, you know, the cooperation, of course, the communication, diplomatic, bilateral ties,
yes,
through the diplomatic channels should be. We have a very, very able ambassador, David Karich, in Washington, you know, and I know that in July, the White House designated Carla Benini as a new charge of affairs. So for me, I'm looking at these diplomatic channels as very, very crucial in cementing the relationship between Nairobi and Washington. And so for me, I'm not very much concerned. I really don't give much thought to political pronouncements by Senator Rishi, and you know, there's a lot that comes out, right? Especially after this new administration, you know, politicians are making a lot of pronouncements.
Yeah.
But what matters most is, you know, what goes on diplomatically between these states. So I want to encourage Nairobi and Washington not to pronounce the diplomacy on social media or on media, but if they can really establish those back channels and be able to find out the win-win for the two states. For the two states, like she says, you know, America needs Kenya. You know, they have their, you know, their military presence in Lamu that enables them to provide counterterrorism, of course, in the region. So America cannot afford to lose Kenya as a partner in terms of course, security. And in terms of also democracy, you know, Kenya has been in the region, you know, one of the most stable democracy. We are perhaps one of the few countries that have regular elections, you know, and with change of governments, you know, compared to others in Africa. We have a very disciplined military that do not interfere in political matters.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of gains. There's a lot of good, good things that that America can see Kenya as a very important strategic partner. And so, like I said before, this process, of course, it will go through the Senate as usual, but. I do not expect, personally, I don't expect that the major NATO ally designation to be retracted.
From us.
No, I don't think so.
What if Can that process be withdrawn now that it's a proposal? Can it be withdrawn? Because we have got almost 90 days for the process to continue. Can it be withdrawn even next week?
Of course, the senator can decide to withdraw it. But again, President Trump, you know, personally, I would encourage President Ruto to establish channels with President Trump. Let's have friendship with President Trump. President Trump, you know, of course, is a conservative president, and of course, Ruto is also a conservative. He's someone who was elected on the basis of what? Of faith.
Yeah.
Give a point.
Yeah.
I know when President Trump was elected, one of the biggest pronouncement he made was that, of course, he recognizes, you know, two genders, male and female, and I remember, you know, President Ruto was very happy about that because our governments are very conservative, and of course, our constitution recognizes God in the preamble. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for our government, for President Ruto and President Trump to establish that. The friendship that Ruto and Biden had, I think can easily be transferred to this president. And again, it all depends on the role the diplomats play. As I said, I trust Ambassador Kerich in Washington to, of course, there's a lot of lobbying that happens in the U.S. diplomatic lobbying. So if they're able to do that, some of these threats can be taken away. But let me also mention politically, I know that the former deputy president is in Washington, is in America, and is spewing a lot of negativity. And for me, I'm very disappointed that someone who once sat, you know, was privy to, of course, security information, security intelligence. There are certain things, even when you disagree politically, there are certain things you just don't go out there and speak. You know, issues to do with security of a nation. You know, fight against terrorism. You don't go and say how bad your country is. Sometimes your father may be. You disagree with your father, but you just don't go and spew all sorts of nonsense like what Gachagua is doing, you know, abroad. But then that is politics, and of course we know that politicians usually take advantage
do what they do best.
But usually, I did not expect that it could go to that level. Usually we do our politics here, but when it comes to relating with other countries, we need to project one image as a nation. Like right now, we're having Chan here. When we win, you know, the whole nation needs to celebrate. But I would not now go out there because I'm dissatisfied with politically, locally, and just go and spill, you know, everything. You know, it's very undiplomatic to say the least.
I get it. But then now, Dr. Let's come back to it. So what do we stand to? Before I even get to that, the negotiations are ongoing, hypothetically speaking, and the proposal is still under review. So what if Kenya retains that position, all right? Who is going to walk with his shoulder so high? If Kenya loses that position again, what will happen if either happens? Diplomatically speaking.
Diplomatically speaking?
Yes.
One, just allow me to note that it's not new. It's not unique of Kenya.
Okay.
Just like it were also for Qatar and Pakistan, there have also been similar threats of revoking that those special privileges of being a NATO ally. And when you look at the process, even for Qatar and Pakistani, it didn't really yield much. So it's a chess game. It's like you know what are you moving at any given time. So at the end of it all, we want to believe that this really will not escalate to the level where we are going to lose that position. But it may come with maybe some concessions, looking at the U.S. And of course more so Trump, America's first. It may come with some requirements of some concessions going by the previous to
Yes.
Qatar and Pakistani. That is one. But if we go down that path and we lose it, it doesn't, you know, before last year, we were still not a non-NATO ally. And that did not change our
We
relations.
had other programs running even without that.
So it doesn't really change much. It's only that we are going to lose that privilege that we currently enjoy in the 1 year that has been for the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, the only thing that perhaps my kinsmate might not understand is Kenya and US have had a very long relationship since time immemorial. But then we have got different nations setting up their positions in Kenya. We have got Batuk, which belongs to the British government and all that. We are still enjoying that fully. But when it comes to now having the relationship between Kenya and the United States, there is just so much in between here and Washington. Should that really not happen, Daniel, you've also traveled across these two capitals quite often. What do you really see anytime you land in any state in the US and you look back home and say, if the relationship between these two countries don't work, what would really happen?
Yeah, so for me, of course, you saw the other day when, of course, the U.S. designated, Zambia and was it Zimbabwe, they slapped visa restrictions, almost from $5,000 to $15,000 on citizens from those countries to travel. So for me, I would really worry about anything that, of course, affects the citizens.
Yes.
Right now, of course, Kenyans still, don't have much. Of course, the visa restrictions are there, but compared to what we saw in Zambia, and also other countries where we have had some visa bans. So I wouldn't want it to go to that level. So I would want it to be managed diplomatically, so that the citizens are not in any way affected. Just like you said, before this designation as an MNNA, we still had a very good relationship with America, with Washington. So this came in, and by the way, I have not quantified the number, the benefits we have accrued since this designation. I don't know whether we have the benefits like what, but as you know, it is most of it is basically security related, military. I don't know how much. Whether our forces have been trained. Whether this opened training for our forces. I know that we have our police in Haiti. And but I know that still is staying in the limbo. So I cannot quantify the benefits after this designation because it's not actually a long time. It's just the other day that it was done. So in terms of Kenyans, I don't want them to worry that this is a big thing. There is really not. It is just a designation. It's just a diplomatic designation that the U.S. government gives to a country that it considers a crucial security partner. So I don't think we are going to lose aid or we are going to lose, but what we can lose, for example, right now, one of the most important benefits that you get especially for the citizens, as a non-NATO ally, is that the citizens of Kenya who are trading, who are dealing in arms, for example, in security-related, the businesses are able to apply and supply the U.S. For example, U.S. Whatever bases in the region, they are given priority. So if I'm a Kenyan and I apply to supply, I apply for a tender to supply one of the U.S. Stations locally, then I'm given priority than a Ugandan businessman, for example. So I don't know how many Kenyan businesses, for example, have taken advantage of this designation and gotten business by the U.S. government. So it all depends on how we look at it. And so for me, I wouldn't really worry so much about it. As I've said earlier on, we are a very strategic nation for America. America needs us. We need America. We have a significant population of Kenyans living in America, and of course vice versa. So for me, I think this is one of the bargaining chips, like chess. You know, President Trump is always looking for a way of, he gives you a threat and then he invites you for a discussion.
Yes.
So I think it is a way of the Washington inviting Nairobi to, let's have a discussion.
So let's say there is hope, yes or no?
Sorry?
There is hope?
A lot of
course.
Let's just maintain that hope.
Yes.
Okay, allow me to finalize at that point. Ona, we've just done 1 hour already. Time flies when you're having a good time. Dr. Wakene Muriki, thank you so much. So you're a lecturer at the Desa University of International Relations, as well as foreign policy and diplomacy analyst, and Africa regional representative of the Global Peace Foundation, Daniel Juma Omondi, joining me. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Students, after this, tukutane class, if you know yourself. All right, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports,
drama.
we bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
to keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Hello, my name is Musa Otieno, former Harambee Stars captain. I just want to let you know that CHAN is in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And if you cannot go to the stadium, you can watch it at KBC. Hashtag CHAN Eco KBC.
Kenya, for the very first time, hosting the Africa Nation Championships, CHAN 2025, alongside Tanzania and Uganda. These matches are already running, so it marks a major sporting milestone, a compelling intersection between sports tourism, and ecotourism. What does this mean for Kenya? More so, what does this mean for marketing agency Kenya Tourism Board? I'm Regina Manyara, and we are joined by none other June Chepkemei, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the marketing agency, to share more insights in regard to this matter.
Thank you, Regina.
What impact has Kenya hosting CHAN had on the industry?
Hosting CHAN means that Kenya is tapping into the 10% tourism expenditure that is as a result of tourism. According to UN Tourism, 10% of the global tourism spend is actually through sports tourism. And this is expected to grow by 17% by the year 2030. So hosting CHAN
for a country like Kenya that is a leading tourism destination in the region is a strategic positioning to reap the benefit that come with sports and tourism.
So how are the numbers looking like in as far as accommodation is concerned?
As you may be aware, most of our trains to our coast are full. The flights are full. You're struggling to get a bus. This is our busy season, the busiest season of tourism in the country. It's the season of wildebeest migration. And so hosting Chan has added value beyond the traditional tourists that we expect in this season. This is usually a season for mostly game, where we call it bush and beach, but we are now beginning to add an addition, which is sports tourism. Regina, our number one contributor to tourism in this country is what we call leisure. It's basically leisure. People are coming for leisure. And if you track where they are going, it's basically to sample what the country has to offer. Number 9, or among the top 10 reasons why people visit Kenya is actually for sports tourism.
Well, any key incentives from the agency supporting the industry as well as a sporting fraternity during the season?
We saw it fit to celebrate in the smallest of ways our national team, Harambee Stars, to the federation with a token of appreciation to a tune of 15 million Kenya shillings. We are also going to buy 5,000 jerseys to be distributed to the fans, who are actually 40% of our population. 40% of our population are actually football fans. So we will distribute in partnership with the federation. And most importantly, we have seen what hosting Chan has done to our country. It has helped us really come together as a people, and we are proud that the national team Harambee Stars has not only represented themselves as a football team, but as a pride of the country.
The Mara is vibrant as well as the country is vibrant during the Chan season. How can Kenya leverage and maximize these two coinciding issues, sports as well as tourism peak, for maximum benefit?
We'll be able to take some players for a familiarization trip in most of our tourist destinations, and Mara is not an exception. We have also noticed an influx of visitors from mostly East Africa who are coming to watch the game, and they're also asking us to allow them to sample the nightlife in Nairobi. They are also going to our retail stores and shopping. We have some of the top brands globally in our top malls. And Regina, you've had some countries calling Kenya their Paris. Some are calling Kenya their New York. Some are calling Kenya their London. And this is what is unique about our country.
Very well said. So now, looking into the future, as an agency, what strategies are you applying, to position Kenya as an ideal tourist destination, leveraging on the sports tourism niche?
We are glad that we've started investing in the sports infrastructure, which has been a challenge. Now, going into the future, we are encouraging the government agencies and even private sector to invest in our local teams, especially the Tier 2, so that we can have a proper, growth path for the talent at the grassroots. So if we all come together as a country, private sector, partnering with the government, to support our 22 teams in the second tier and the 12 women teams in the second tier, it then gives us a natural growth, and we are able to then encourage young people who are getting interested into sports, especially football, to know that there is a future. Regina, if you look at just Tier 2, the 22 teams play over 1,400 matches in 10 months. The ladies, the 12 teams play over 700 in 10 months, and they traverse the country and they move with their fans. So from tourism point of view, we are able to promote domestic tourism.
What is in store for those who have either come to play or even supporting the teams in Kenya as far as Kenya's vast tourism portfolio is concerned?
There is no better place to be than to be in Kenya. We have proven that we have world-class sports facilities, not only for soccer, but even for our athletics, and we are seeing our rugby pitch coming up. It means that Kenya is ready for the world. Kenya is ready to play in the global league, but we are unique in the sense that in Kenya you can play 364 and a quarter days. We do not have seasons that can stop us from playing. Whether you are coming here to just practice, you are coming for a friendly match, or you are simply coming to test what the country has to offer. So yes, Kenya is ready for the world.
Expectations of Chan from an industry point of view?
For now, we are supporting the Football League through FKF, and we're just going to work with them even as we get into the new season. As you may be aware, we are supporting our athletes, and we are preparing them even for the Olympics in 2027 that will be happening in the US. We are already working closely, and you are aware, with our golf team to just ensure that we are prepared for the next big thing in the golfing fraternity. We continue to support clubs, and recently we had a meeting with all the clubs in the country to then begin to package golf nights for tourists, because it's also a growing segment that has huge expenditure. Just if I could go back to soccer or football, an average football fan spends $1,500 when they come to your country. So for us, sports tourism is not only important, but it is a sector that we must work together to ensure that we grow it from position 9 to even among our top 3 tourist attraction to the country.
Parting shot, Madam CEO?
If you're looking for a place to visit, Kenya is the real deal. Don't miss out on meeting even just the people of Kenya and engage with our over 50 million smiles.
Well, there you have it. Other than a 15 million sponsorship or partnership with the sporting fraternity as Kenya hosts Chan, the Kenya Tourism Board is also looking at setting up incentives for the players to also get to sample, as well as their families and their fans, to sample what Kenya has to offer in as far as tourist attractions are concerned, and not limited to the Mara. Spoken just as the CEO mentioned that Mara is not out of the equation. Incentives will be coming down for the industry as Kenya positions herself as not only an ideal tourist destination, but the place to be for sports. I'm Regina Manyara. I hand you back to Broadcasting House.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo niko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama Pedeshe, ma deep state pia vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, stesheni ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija kipwani.
Hello dear Kenyans, my name is Hussein Mohamed, FKF President. I take this opportunity to welcome you to enjoy the CHAN competitions as East Africa hosts this prestigious tournament. Come out in large numbers and support our Harambee Stars. Catch all the games on KBC Channel 1.
Kwa majina naitwa Anthony Mzee Obala. Hiki ni kikundi ambacho tulianza 2009. Nilikuwa na ile morali ya mpira, nikasema wacha nichukulie dimension ya mpira na niangalie kama naweza kuza talanta. Kwa sababu ukipata pale juu, si ati mtu atakuwa amejua kucheza mpira pale juu pasipo kupitia hapa chini. So kwanza tuangazie grassroots, na hapo ndio mbali niko. Na mbali na kuangazia grassroots kucheza, tunafundisha vijana vile wanaweza ishi, kubadilisha tabia na pia kujaribu kuangazia mambo ya conflicts. Tulianza na watoto wa miaka 12 na 14, watoto karibu 40. Sasa kama hapa pale tuko, tuna vijana kuanzia miaka 10 hadi 24, 5 na watoto zaidi ya 150. Kwa wale ambao nilianza nao saizi, kuna wale ambao wako Gor Mahia, kama kuna huyo Mala, kuna ule John Ochieng ambaye saizi ameenda Zambia, kuna Toby Otieno ambaye yuko USA saizi, kuna Maingi ambaye ni polisi saizi, anacheza polisi. Then wasichana pia kuna msichana ambaye yuko Viga Queens, Zitek ina wasichana 4. Majority of them wako Kisumu All Stars hapa hivi. Na pia katika hiyo timu ya under 18 kuna mmoja pia ametoka hapa yuko kwa hiyo timu. So tunaweza sema wachezaji karibu 50 kwenda juu wako mahali na wanaweza weka chakula kwa meza. Mpira ikiisha ni wapi unaenda? Lazima ukuwe na kitu ya kujishikilia. Na pia wale wako mtaani pale maybe ambao wachezi mpira wawe na mahali pao pia ambao wanaweza kuja kufanya vitu walizofanya ili ya kujisaidia. Tukawa pia tunafungua sekta ya photography na film. Wale ambao tulianza nao kwa film tayari saizi wameform organization yao inaitwa Naweza. Then kuna vijana karibu 7 saizi wanajifundisha DJing, na tunania kuwa baada ya muda tutakuwa tumeleta mabadiliko katika jamii. Nitashukuru kwa sababu waziri pia alikuwa hapa na akatuambia wanaenda kutuingiza sisi tutakuwa kama Satellite Academy ya Talanta Hela upande huu. Ni program nzuri ambayo inalenga vijana chipukizi. Mayouth wetu kama kuna talanta tuende polepole, tuweze kusikiza, tuwe na nidhamu na waweze kujua maisha si ati vile iko tu itakuwa hivyo, lakini tunaweza ibadilisha.
Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. Of course, this is the Western Spectrum on Good Morning Kenya, coming to you live from Kisii County. And today, of course, we are discussing the menstrual hygiene in the country, and of course, just exploring ways in which we can actually ensure, or stakeholders that are actually involved in that particular sector, ensure accessibility and affordability of sanitary towels in the country. The statistics are not very pleasing to the eye and to the ear, but of course we have people or players in the sector who are actually actively involved in ensuring that, one, the sanitary towels are accessible, and two, they are also affordable. And of course she'll be breaking it down for us on exactly what needs to be done and how they need to move forward in terms of ensuring that indeed each and every girl and woman in the villages and of course in urban centers and in the sprawling slums can actually access this very vital commodity that they want. Now, if you're joining us, of course, this is Good Morning Kenya, and we want to discuss a story of 5 friends who met in a campus, and while they were having fun and listening to what was actually happening on TV, an idea struck, and the idea was around coming up with sanitary towels that will be accessible and available and affordable to all young girls and women across the country. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Yes. Tell us about Ecobana.
Okay, so Ecobana is a startup located in Kisii County that manufactures biodegradable sanitary pads using banana fibers. And with that, we are also impacting lives around Kisii and by creating job employment. And we also have other things in stock.
Why banana fiber? Because, I mean, when you've had stories about young women using funny things during their menstrual cycle, it has always been something that has kind of embarrassed them. You hear of they are using torn cloths, they are using banana leaves, they are using something that is not very pleasant to the ear. So why did you decide that you're going to use banana fiber?
Okay, it was when their idea came to action, it was back in 2020 when we were doing the ideation, and we thought that why don't we just come up with something that at the end of the day will be impacting the community, creating job employment, and at some point we are also protecting our environment in terms of why don't we come up with something which is more biodegradable than what we are used to having in the market. And at the end of the day, you'll find out that most people are unable to access the quality sanitary pad. So someone will just go for a pad just because it's a pad. So we thought, why don't we bring down something that even the common mwananchi is able to afford and utilize it? So why banana fibers? We found that, from our research, we found that banana fibers are actually very absorbent, and they're also eco-friendly. And no matter which part of the country or which part of the earth that we will expand to, we will always find our raw material there. Plus, again, most of the farmers, most of them, they don't realize this, but once they harvest the fruit, most of the time they leave the trunks on the ground. And yes, at the end of the day, the whole trunk that has been left, it will decompose and the land will be fertile. But in the process of the decomposition, there's a lot of emissions of CO2 before it actually becomes that manure. And for us, we saw another man's waste could actually be our own treasure. And that is why we decided to take the fibers, the trunks. Once someone harvests, we come, take the trunks, come here, do everything, make our product, and at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for each and everyone.
It was not a walk in the park. You tell me that when you guys mooted this idea and you sat down and thought through the entire process and ultimately decided that you're actually going to start this particular project, one thing was actually lacking, and resources. Tell us how you actually managed to surmount those challenges to where you are now.
So we realized that we were knocking on a lot of doors, but each and every time, it's like me coming here to you right now. You have not seen the package, you have not seen anything, and I just tell you, I can actually make a sanitary pad from banana fiber. Your chances of even giving me a coin or two for me to be able to implement that are very rare. So that is what happened. And with that, we just realized, why don't we use the available resources that you have and come up with something, at least a prototype, so that when we knock on these doors, people are able to listen to us, and they are actually able to see what you're trying to say, not just imagine everything. And with that, we were able to, with our first prototype, we actually used a blender. It was one of our blenders. That is what we used to mix the pulp. And we were able to come up with something that was close to our final idea, which we have today, and we were able to show to people. And we felt a lot of competitions, because we realized that, why don't you go to a huge audience instead of just one office where I'm just talking to you? Why don't I find a place whereby I can talk to multiple people at once? And at the end of the day, you never know who's going to be listening. So with that, we were able to actually start getting our funding, which enabled us first to buy or to fabricate local machines that we were able to now come up with a better prototype, which in 2022, September, we were able to compete with Health Prize and helped us go to New York with it. And with that, we were able to scoop $1 million, and that is why we are here today.
Fantastic. Just looking at the journey in terms of the idea and getting to a level now where you can actually get resources, so that then you can actually kickstart this particular project. It tells me one thing that is constant in implementation of so many other ideas that are actually out there, access to resources. What then do we need to do, especially stakeholders in the line sector, in terms of just ensuring that if ideas were to come up from young people, that if people actually were to come up with ideas, then they can actually be actualized, as this has actually been actualized?
I think what you need to do is, first of all, we should be able to support young people, because ideas are so many out here, but then the funding or the opportunity to even pitch out your idea, they're not that accessible, and they're not accessible to each and every person. So if we were able to, most of the time, see and look at what the young generations were doing here in Kenya, I feel like we could do a lot, because whatever we're importing, you actually find that those things are actually happening here in Kenya. People have that idea, which is actually sometimes better than what is already in the market. So if we were able to actually embrace it, I feel like as a country, we will be far more better.
Fantastic. Looking at from what you're actually just talking about in terms of ensuring that then there's need to actually put money to ideas so then they can actually be actualized. One thing that is constant in this journey of menstrual hygiene has been the fact that we talk a lot. We talk big in terms of access to sanitary towels, availability for this and affordability of these sanitary towels. But ultimately, we have left them to NGOs. We have left them to ad hoc activities in terms of people give out sanitary towels as a means of say, political mileage, as a means of endearing themselves to the community, rather than having a structured way in terms of ensuring that people can actually, one, get affordable and can actually access these sanitary towels as and when they want.
Okay, when it comes to that, one of the things that we have done to make it more accessible on our side at Ecobana, we believe that most of the people that are suffering are mostly the school-going kids. And with that, our perception, when we were coming out to the pad dispenser, we were like, what if you are in a boarding school, in the dormitory, but then your period just started? Because yes, when you're in your period, you can actually track and you can always move with the pad. But when you have not started, sometimes it's hard to know when it's coming. So we felt like if we come up with a sanitary pad dispenser, then we are able to help this kid. You're in your pads are in the dormitory, but then you just started your menses. So what is the best action for you to do? Just take a 10 shilling coin, drop it inside this pad ATM, and one pad comes out. You are able to use it as you wait for the dormitory to be opened. Also, I feel like it can also work in public spaces, because we have also installed it in places like Maimayu, whereby you find that there are communities, but then the shops or the kiosks are very far away. So what you do is, as long as it just has a source of electricity, you just pull it in, and when someone is on demonstration, they come, put a coin, get a pad, and be able to use it. Yes.
The discussion around access to sanitary towels, of course, has been there for quite some time. And when you look at the statistics, they still grim. 2 out of 3 women or girls in rural areas that actually want sanitary towels actually get them from sexual partners. Of course, that has that speaks to the narrative that, of course, there are young girls and women who actually now forced to, sell themselves so then they can actually get sanitary towels, or alternatively, they're actually being taken advantage of by, rogue men out there, so that then they can actually access sanitary towels. The question then is, how do we ensure that, apart from, of course, what Ecobana is doing, that across board, that women can actually access these sanitary towels. Of course, we know the 2027 Basic Education Act that actually compels the provision of sanitary towels in public schools, right? However, still, women are still suffering, young girls are still suffering. How then do we ensure that we surmount that challenge?
Especially when it comes selling sex for parts. When we as the community, or we as the people who have already been there, who have already undergone through all these stages, I feel like, especially when you find out that sometimes you buy pads in bulk and just take to kids, after that you guys, you cook and all that, after that you just go home. I feel like we should introduce something like menstrual hygiene management. That one, we are not only just talking about the menstrual hygiene perspective, how a woman should be before, during and after periods, but you're also talking about how to not be corrupted by these people, and they're like, once we have sex with you, I'm going to be able to give you a pad. But at the end of the day, really, does it even work? Because most of the time, these young girls, they're the same people that you'll find in the village, a young kid holding a young kid. And at the end of the day, whatever that you are looking for, you didn't get it. And even if you have the pad, you're unable to use it. So I feel like more education, more talking to these people, tell them that you do not have to have sex for you to be able to get this basic commodity. There are actually alternatives. Talk to your parents, talk to people around you. If you're in school, even talk to the teachers over there. I feel like education is the basic of everything. Them knowing that it is not a must for me to give into this, that is where the whole thing starts.
Is it worrying that when you talk about education, is it worrying that just about 25% of girls out there can actually access that information from their mothers and, of course, parents and guardians?
Yeah, it's actually very hard for parents. For instance, when I was starting my periods, I was just told, here are your sanitary pads, do not get pregnant. I'm like, how do menstruation and pregnancy get in contact? So if our parents, or if we, the future parents, are more open with our children, even the sisters, if it's not your parents, if the teachers and the sisters could actually be more open to these conversations, let us treat menstrual hygiene or menstruation as a norm and not a taboo or something that one should be ashamed of. Then I feel like we could also handle this. Because if I know a lot about menstruation, I won't come to you as a girl and start asking you what is happening to me. And you instead, you'll be like, I can actually help you out, but sometimes for me to be able to help you out, I'll need sexual favors in return. So at the end of the day, yes, I've learned it from a stranger, but you have not exactly taught me about anything, because at the end you have also used me. So yeah, basically.
How then do we go about it? So then this is a topic that we can discuss freely, because men rarely discuss it with their girls. Women, just about 25% will discuss it with their parents, and then the society out there is actually waiting to pounce on these naive girls out there, and of course now poverty that surrounds everything around mental society. How do we ensure that this thing we actually channel it in a proper manner, so that then the community can actually benefit, and we take away all those vices of exploitation?
First, it will start with the issue of taboos. If we are able to deal with the taboo of even if a woman is menstruating, she cannot come here, and we cannot have a daughter cannot have the same conversations with with a father, then that is the first step that you are able to actually cap this whole thing. The other thing is indulge in community talks. Don't just give out the pads. Talk to them, feel them, educate them, because if you just give me a pad, some of us don't even know how to use the pads. So I'll just be like, it's just a guesswork until the time I'll be like, oh, when I go to high school and probably it's a boarding school and see other people, how they're using it, I'm like, okay, so this is how it's supposed to be used. So if we are able to involve the community, and also when you're having these discussions with the community, let's not leave out the men aside. For instance, Ecobana Limited, 3 co-founders, they're all men, and I'm the only female. And that does not mean that because you're a man, you cannot indulge yourself in conversations behind menstrual hygiene management. So you'll find that even some of these talks, or most of them, you'll find that it's my co-founders who are doing these talks. Just to tell people that you don't have to be a woman for you to make a difference in the menstrual hygiene sector. The other thing that you can do is, if we could have it as a unit or as a course or as a topic in primary school, high school, and all the way to university. Because some people also be like, people start their menstruation in high school. So most people, if you're in primary school, you're not talked about anything about it. And also in that high school, they're just brushing it off. It's not like they're going in depth to the real information that you need and everything that you need. They're just doing they're not telling us everything. You'll also find that it's not only, some people will actually start their menstruation in university. So what happens to such a person? Primary, you are not taught. High school, you just brush around it. You just know there is blood, nothing much, and there is symptoms, nothing much about it. You don't know even how to take care of yourself and all that. So if we are able to introduce these courses just from primary level so that each and every person can be able to understand this, even when we are growing up, you'll find that at the end of the day, we are so good and we understand much more about our bodies as ladies, and you as men, you're able to support us. Because sometimes some of you guys, you'll be like, probably you guys are even faking. We don't know anything about this. You're women after all. So I feel like if you knew this from the grassroots level, you're able to help us.
But someone is whispering in my ear and saying that out of the co-founders that actually found Ecobana, you are the only female. So you cannot necessarily say that that men are aloof, especially when it comes to this particular topic. Okay,
that's actually...
And also you can also tell us what was the discussion that you were actually having with these men to a level that now you decided that this is what you're going to do.
Okay, coming up with sanitary pads with my co-founders who are men, it started when I have a personal story of dropping out of school due to lack of sanitary pad. And when we got to the university and we met as friends, as we were doing all this, we were actually going to a lot of primary schools and high schools, talking to them about menstrual hygiene and taking to them pads. And that is when one of my co-founders is also from Migori, and he's like, also this is not actually, it's not only a problem in your side, but even in our side, we actually experience a lot of that. And also there's the disposal part of it. So when we were talking about all this, we were like, okay, why don't we do something about it? At the end of the day, one way or another, we'll be impacting lives. For instance, you've said in Migori, there's a lot of period poverty and all that, and people cannot access quality menstrual products. So if we are able to actually come up with something that works, we are able to give... From my perspective, or where I come from, they used to compare between bread and pad. So do we buy food, or do we give you the sanitary pad? And I find that in other communities, they're also using cow dungs and something of sort to be able to do all this. So with us coming on board and being like, okay, let's find something that you can actually work on, something that can actually benefit each and every one of us, that is what made us start this whole thing.
Kelly, someone looking at you, sitting here, and you're just saying that you actually had to drop out of school at some point because of sanitary towels, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us the story. Is a motivation to actually those that are actually out there and saying, I cannot go back to school because I don't have sanitary towels. I will use my body to, get sanitary towels. And eventually, of course, we know there's pregnancy and everything else that follows.
I'll start from the end. If you decide to use your body in order to get sanitary pad, at the end of the day, you'll end up with pregnancy. You're a child. We don't need a child to have another child. So of all the options that you have, I think that is the least of our options. And if it's too bad, extremely bad. I'm sure if you walk to a shop and tell that shopkeeper of what you're going through, even if she's selling, she might actually give you for free. Because at the end of the day, we are humans and we listen and we have emotions at the end of the day. So my story goes back roughly 15 years ago when I started my periods. I was in class and then all of a sudden I'm stained. I stand up and my classmates, they're all whining and I'm like, what is happening? Until I look at myself and yeah, I'd messed up. I'd started my menstruation. I didn't know what to do. I just ran to the toilet to hide. Yes, I got help for that day. I was given the pad, but then I could not, after break when I went back to that class, I could not stay in that class because everyone is just talking about what they've just said now. It's become...
the shame and everything that
yes.
comes with it, yes.
Now it's such a shameful thing and I'm like, okay, I cannot be in this space anymore. So now I have to go home, explain everything, and due to how I felt, due to my emotions, I was unable to continue with school for some time. But at the end of the day, I came to realize that even if I've stopped going to school, I have a future, I have dreams. So what will become of my dreams? They won't just come in as I'm seated here. I have to work towards them. So that means I have to go back to school. And for me, it went to a point that I had to change schools. Because again, going to the same school, the same stories, and I'm now focused and I'm like, now I need to finish this school.
Everyone looking at you and saying that is a girl who stands herself.
Yes, which is very shameful. And with that is why one of our mentorship programs, we indulge both men and women, girls and boys in one thing when we are talking about menstrual hygiene management. So that we don't want, or I don't want such an instance to ever happen to anyone ever again, for anyone to ever feel ashamed because of their menstruation. Because that is a normal thing and you're not supposed to feel bad about it. You're not supposed to feel ashamed about your menstruation. You're supposed to walk with it with pride, actually. Because it shows that you are actually a woman. Yes.
In your discussion, you've actually touched on access to quality products. That is one thing that, of course, has raised concern over the years, right? Because we've had cases where people are reacting badly with the products that are already in the market, right? And at times we also know our systems are such that at times unscrupulous businessmen find ways of sneaking through products that have not actually been vetted properly and what have you, and they could be slightly cheaper than those that are actually already in the market, and that of course now will lead especially young girls and women who cannot afford these things to go for the cheapest in the market, right? Tell us, Ecobana, how quality are these products, and then two, compared to what we have in the market, where do they rank? And then lastly, when you look at these Ecobana products, right, vis-a-vis what you already have in the market, of course there's been questions of using chemicals to bleach the sanitary towels that are already in the market, and what we have here, the biodegradable ones, right? How good are these products as compared to whatever we have in the market?
So as Ecobana, we are using natural products from end to end. So with that, we are able to ensure that when a woman uses our sanitary pads, there's no issue when it comes to the issues of infertility. Very few people know actually sometimes pads can generate such issues. You're getting to your place and you now want to actually have a kid, but then you're unable to because at the end of the day, a lot of chemicals have reacted with you. So as we were doing our research, we also looked for natural solutions to be able to make our end product as good and as perfect as most of the high-end products. Because there are some products, when you look at the biodegradable sanitary pads, most of them will range from 480 or 460, for instance. And it's the same pack, a pack of 8 going for that amount. And you are like, you do not have to break your bank, or you do not have to be in a certain status in life for you to actually be able to afford something which is biodegradable. So we have made sure that even the rest of our raw materials are biodegradable and they're organic 100%, and they're fit for human consumption. And with that, I was actually the first person, being the only lady in the company, that it means I had to test all my products, because I cannot come.
You are the official test of Ecobana.
I'm the official tester of the Ecobana. I cannot come to you and sell to you a product that I'm not using or that I've not used. So I have to test it and come to you and be like, okay, this is actually perfect. So you found that when you were starting, at some point we had the issues of uncomfortability and all that. But we did not give up. We continued with the whole thing, and until now we have something which is perfect, something that we are sure any client or any person who uses the Ecobana sanitary pads, the issue of itchiness is long gone, the issues of infertility is long gone, because we are just, we are all using everything that you're using. It's a natural thing.
One thing that has actually struck me is the issue of the pad dispenser. Pad dispenser in schools, in markets, in sprawling slums, that is a revolutionary idea.
Okay, the pad dispenser came about when we were like, okay, sometimes we find someone does not actually have 75 shillings to buy the whole Ecobana packet, but they have 10 shillings and they need it right now and then. Why don't they just get it from the pad ATM as they think through of what to do next? Probably at home you have the rest of your pads there, but at that crucial moment, you actually need a pad. You don't want to be walking in town with a whole packet or with a whole box. So with that, we were like, why don't you just give something that is something small and something more affordable than buying a whole packet. For a whole packet, yes, you need a whole 75 shilling, but for one piece, you just need 10 Kenyan shillings, and you're able to actually access it and use it. Yeah, so we felt that.
So far, is it, have you like rolled out in schools and markets, or is still in the pilot stage?
We have rolled out in mostly schools, high schools, and also we are working with communities. For instance, I told you that in Maimahiu we have a similar setup, and we are working with also other communities. In the coming days, we'll be actually in more spaces than we are right now.
Looking at your structure, looking at how you have actually rolled out this project, looking at how you've actually actualized the idea that you guys had to this level. What is this that can actually be done so then young entrepreneurs and innovators like you can actually now move from step 1 to step 2 and actually bring these brilliant ideas on the table and actualize these brilliant ideas? Because when you tell me I must have, let's say, 45 or 50 or 75 bob before I can actually access a pad, but in this situation, I can actually just walk into a dispenser, be it in the toilet or whichever place, and get that pad at 10 bob. I mean, what does it mean? What needs to be done so that then we can actually roll out these things in large scale?
First of all, for motivators out there, whatever idea that you have, the first thing is to not cocoon yourself with your idea. Because at the moment you say that, if I pitch my idea, they will take it, then you will never pitch to anyone. So that means until you work, you look for another side hustle that is able to fund your project, you're never going to move forward. So the first thing is to talk out. And for people who are already in business like Ecobana, what we need is support, first of all. Being a Kenyan brand, made in Kenya by Gen Zs, I feel like it's time that Kenyans and each and every person should be able to appreciate and be like, okay, actually we are proud of our very own product. This is something that has been made in Kenya, and so Kenyans should be using it actually. And then we should also be accommodative when it comes to new innovations, when it comes to things like a sanitary pad dispenser. If you feel like your community, you can actually, if this pad dispenser, if it will be in your community, it will actually create more impact. Because at the end of the day, yes, there's a business aspect of it. Even if we give this pad dispenser to your community or we sell it to your community, there's the community, apart from just giving out the pads, there's also the business aspect of it. And you never know, but one can actually grow from such an innovation. So if we are open to more innovations, if we are open to young people, because some places you'll hear that they're too young, sometimes they don't know what they're doing, sometimes they're just doing try and error. But this has come from a passion, a point of passion. We're doing it first for the passion, not for the business. Because for you to be able to come up with something so beautiful like Ecobana products, it all starts with a passion. Do you have passion for it? Even our employees who are here. First of all, you need to have that passion. Do you love what you're doing? Do you enjoy working here? And such things. So if we could
But we can also not rule out the issue of business. How many employees are you having here? And how much of an impact has it had in terms of just accommodating? Because when I came here, the young people were here and they're actually having their morning devotion, just praying before they actually begin to work. How much of an impact has it been to the local community? And in terms of employment, where do you get your staff? Is it from local community? And is it mainly youth, or you are now actually going for specific persons?
When it comes to the employment sector, the first time we rolled out, everyone applied. Within 1 week, we had over 12,000 emails that were sent. And with that, the shortlisting was not easy, but through a company that we brought on board, we were able to shortlist. But then from there henceforth, most of the people that are working with us, they live from around, they're from the community. That means that we are actually benefiting the community. Right now, we have 24 full-time workers at Ecobana Limited, and we also have indirect workers like the people who supply us with the trunks. They're able to earn a coin or two to be able to go on with their daily lives.
In conclusion, it's not just about the sanitary towels. I'm also seeing mats. I'm seeing other beautiful products around here. Just in brief.
When we came up with mats, the idea of mats was born after the Ecobana sanitary pads. And the idea of mats came to being that after we use the trunks, the remains, what do we do with them? Do we dispose them? Again, we're going back to destroying the environment. So why don't we make use of them and come up and make something like mats, whereby we are actually indulging more people. You know, it's better to be inside here doing something and learning a new skill other than being roaming out there and abusing drugs or just staying idle. So with that, the Ecobana mats were born, and they're actually going for very affordable prices, and they come in different sizes. We also do customizations. We do a lot of things. Even if you want it to look like you, we might not do the exact thing, but we'll bring something almost closer to something like you. So yes, and with that we are also able to again bring more people on board, empower the women mostly, because the mat sector, we have left it mostly for the women in the community, and we are able to empower them through that.
5 years from today?
5 years from today. 5 years from today, we want to be in all the leading supermarkets. We want to be not only selling, but creating impact. We also want to have touch in all the African markets. We have touched a few of the markets, but if it will be better if we attach all the markets, because at the end of the day, each pad that you have used from Ecobana Limited is equivalent to saving 92% of plastic waste that could have been disposed. So at the end of the day, you're not just using a pad, but you're also contributing to the environment.
Which is key. Fantastic. That's the right place for us to end this conversation. Kelly Mudoni Ogola, of course, giving us a detailed account of when this particular product, Ecobana sanitary towels, began, and the journey they've actually moved. Since then, the journey they've traveled since the year 2020 up until today. One key thing she's actually put out there is that all innovators and entrepreneurs out there, don't sit on your ideas. Come out, try to actualize them, and ensure that indeed you touch the community. My name is Achala Simon, and of course, on behalf of everyone who's actually made this possible, our cameraman, Martin Nthiga Kivuti, and of course, Simon Nyamatik, and of course, Kelly, for accepting to actually sit on this set, and of course, spew the wisdom she's actually given us today, and of course, our producer in Nairobi, Muhika John. Thank you very much, and we take you back to Broadcasting House.
In today's world, Securing a job after university is increasingly difficult. Many graduates like Faith face harsh job rejections and a tough economy. Despite her hopes for a stable job post-graduation, Faith struggled to find work, leading to her to consider starting a business instead.
You're looking for jobs, there are no jobs, you're sending applications, you can't get even the responses. And so that led me to find a way of surviving, and that's when I ventured into selling laptops.
During this time, Faith connected with her friend Caleb, who ran a small computer sales and repair business. Recognizing a partnership opportunity, Faith brought fresh ideas while Caleb contributed his experience. Together, they embarked on an entrepreneurial journey.
Fresh ideas and also the zeal from someone new.
Setting up the business proved challenging. They needed to find a prime location, reliable suppliers, and raise funds for rent and stock.
The business is capital intensive, and that meant that I have to look for capital, and also starting out, especially here in Nairobi, it's very expensive because you'll need to have connections on where to get stock, on where to get the capital, on where to start from. And so even getting people to work with you through the journey was a bit challenging, but through and through we have been able to climb the ladder.
They chose to sell computers due to the growing reliance on technology, which they believed had significant market potential.
Right now, the world is all about technology. So you need to have a computer to do everything. Right now, you need to have a computer and all the electronics. You can't stay without a gadget. So that is something that is needed. It's almost a basic need nowadays.
Trust was crucial to their success. As friends, they divided responsibilities based on their strengths and ensured the shop remained open even when one was absent. They tackled problems together, leading to innovative solutions for smooth operations.
We act like a pilot and a co-pilot. So whenever I'm not there, the co-pilot is able to do everything that I can do. So we have equal roles, and everybody knows what they are good at, and they have perfected the places where they're good at, and so we're able to complement each other in that way.
Understanding each other, yes. So, of course, I have some ideas, my partner has other ideas, but we have to understand one another so that everything can run smoothly.
As competition increased, they needed to differentiate themselves. They expanded services by offering repairs, a Lipa Pole Pole payment plan, and door-to-door deliveries. These additions attracted more customers and helped build a trusted brand.
We don't only sell computers, we also do repairs. We also offer payment plans. So like when you come to purchase a laptop from us, we take you through the different types that we have. After that, we're able to give you options. You choose the option that you like the most, and then we take you through the Lipa Pole Pole plan. We have Lipa Pole Pole plans for laptops, and we also have repair services whereby we do not only sell laptops, but we also repair. If you have a laptop that is that has an issue, we can also repair that for you. And we have services like delivery services.
Starting the business transformed Faith's life. Overcoming job rejection, she found joy in independence and success, earning more than she expected and feeling grateful for taking the risk.
And so one of the things that I know I might not do as a person is go back to be a career person, because for sure if I'm going to be a career person, that career might not pay me the much that I need to survive, especially in Nairobi and in the current economic status that we are in. Yeah.
Faith's online skills helped expand their customer base through social media advertising, customer reviews, and online orders with delivery options.
And you see, for a fresh graduate, she's well conversant with online marketing. So she has taught me a lot.
Now successful entrepreneurs, Faith and Caleb advise youths not to wait for employment, but to seek alternative paths. They encourage aspiring entrepreneurs to identify market trends rather than blindly starting any business, as maintaining one can be challenging.
That you feel like giving up, the days that you feel like you don't know, you don't have a direction. But at the end of the day, you just sit down and ask yourself, then what? If I sit here and wait, who is coming to save me? Definitely with our current state of the economic status that we are in right now, there's no one who is coming to save you. So the only thing you need to do is just start. Whatever it is that you're thinking about, just start and be disciplined and be consistent as much as possible.
You can check whatever is moving online, because you see, you can start a business, but then you will not find clients because whatever you're selling is not needed at the moment. So you need to have something that if you buy to sell, you'll find clients instantly.
Habari muhimu ni zile zinazoathiri maisha yako, na zinapojiri tuko hapo.
Tunakuletea habari zinazojiri nchini na kimataifa.
Hakuna kabila ambayo iko hapa Kenya kwa mwaliko ya mwingine.
Mambo ya matibabu isiwe starehe ya watu wa dosi.
Tunakufahamisha kila wakati ili uwe tayari kwa yajayo.
We will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Katika ulimwengu unaosonga kwa kasi, usahihi wa habari ni muhimu.
The only thing that has changed, Senator Khalwale, is that you are defending the indefensible. If you allow me as a bullfighter, I'll fix him here and now, and it will be sorted out.
You were doing very well until you brought out your character of bullfighting.
Tunakupa habari sahihi na zisizoegemea upande wowote.
Pindi tu walioteuliwa wataidhinishwa na bunge la kitaifa.
Na ni hapa ndipo
Darubini,
kila siku ya Jumatatu na Jumanne
saa 1 jioni.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set for Chan 2024. Please watch out for every thrilling goal, every breathtaking moment on our radio stations, on our TV platform, and all on our social media pages. Chan iko KBC.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. Now we get into family matters, today being a Monday. And it's the aspect of ageless unions. Today we are talking about age in marriage. And the question of the day is, does age really matter in marriage? What do you think? Does age really matter in marriage? The whole aspect of age is just a number. Does it hold water? You can be part of this conversation by sending us your SMS, WhatsApp, via WhatsApp. That is through the number 0716 103 301, 0716 103 301, and we shall be sampling some of your comments as the show progresses. Reverend Bernard Akama is a senior pastor, Sound of Abundance Church, and joins us on Good Morning Kenya to talk about this. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
And also Emma Karitu, who is a family pastor and also counseling psychologist and mental health coach. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes. And I want to get, first of all, your view on this. And let me start with you, Reverend Akama.
Yes.
Does age really matter in a marriage?
According to me, no, it doesn't matter.
Why?
It doesn't matter because for me, it depends with who is marrying who and who is older than who. I believe a 20-year-old lady can handle a 50-year-old man.
Really?
Yes, but a 50-year-old man cannot, a 20-year-old man cannot handle a 50-year-old woman. Is it making sense?
make it make sense.
Like you see, women mature faster than men.
Yeah.
Men mature according to age. A 23-year-old thinks like a 23-year-old. But that's in the concept of men. But in the concept of a woman or a lady who's 23 or 22 can handle marriage well or can handle relationship better than a 23-year-old man because women mature faster. So for me, age doesn't matter at all. It depends with what are you looking for? What do you want? And have you found a person who is meeting your preference, what you want? Because there are men who are focused, who are mature, and they know what they are looking for and what they want. And ladies of their age group are not in the sphere where they want to or cannot tackle what they're looking for. So what they do, they will go for an older lady who is more settled, more mature, more focused, more visionary, like what they're looking for. So they would prefer going for a mature woman than a single lady. Yes.
Pastor Emma,
yes,
what do you think about all this? And do you concur with whatever Pastor Bernard is saying? But your perspective first. Does age really matter in a marriage?
For me, age doesn't matter. Age is just a number. And you're as young as you feel, you're as old as you feel. So I agree with the Reverend that indeed age doesn't matter, but it depends on the two coming together. But it matters if somebody has a problem with the age, it can't work. But if the two of them come together and they say it doesn't matter the age difference, there's a connection between us, there's something that is bringing them together. Maybe their value system, their faith, what is it that is bringing them together? So for me, it doesn't really matter because people are different. Personalities come into play. The way somebody has been raised up comes into play, but it still bottles down to the two of them on what they really want in that relationship. So I think the most important thing is to address the why. Why am I marrying this person, or why am I getting married to this person? In fact, for us at ICC Church, I serve at ICC Church, ICC Nairobi. For us, before even we engage people for the premarital counseling classes, because you have to go through marriage is not a joke. You have to be prepared for marriage. So when you take people through premarital classes, the first thing that we do, we interview. And of course, there's a form that they fill, and in that form, they fill their ages. And when you see the age difference, we ask them, what are your thoughts about this man being older than you or this lady being older than you? Just to get, and even tell them, like, how will that play in your marriage? So for me, age really doesn't matter. It's the two people coming together and why, and what is bringing them together. Yes.
Could you say age is a preference of,
yes,
of
it's
an
a
individual?
personal choice. You see, like 3 months ago, and it's not only age, every other element or aspect of marriage, 3 months ago, I had a couple who were planning to join our Prima class. And the guy had a son, but for the lady, her checklist for marriage, she wanted somebody who doesn't have a child. But for another man or another lady, it doesn't matter. If you have a child and I love you as a package because you're coming in with that child. Same thing. There's somebody who will say categorically, I've encountered all manner of people in my practice, and I've encountered people who say, for me, I can never get married to a younger man, or I can never get married to an older man who looks like my dad. For some, they say it's okay. For me, age is just a number. So it's a very personal preference. And for sure, if you feel you can't get married to a person who has an age difference with you, you shouldn't get married in the first place. So it's a personal choice. Yes, it's a very personal choice. It's a preference, an individual's preference. Yes.
Pastor Kama, when you look at societal norms and cultural practices, why do you think most of them do gravitate towards the man being older? Does the age factor contribute to success or lack thereof in that union?
It does. It does. You see, for example, let me give this scenario. You'll find most ladies who want to settle down, you find there's always pressure on the lady on when to marry. So I would say ladies have like a time limit. And so what happens, you'll find like, because probably I want by this time to be married, to have kids. For men, at 60, you can still get children. But you find there could be some sort of limitation to the lady. So what happens, you find the lady who feels, I want to get married, I want to settle, maybe at the age of 30 or 35, and you find there's a man at that age who is not ready. So what will happen, most of the time, you'll find this kind of lady will go for a man who is maturer on this aspect. And the man that can take care of that lady who's at that age, most of them are married. So one, they have the maturity whereby they have handled, they're handling their families. They know responsibility, how to handle responsibility. So what happens, this kind of ladies have a tendency of falling on those men, on the preference of this one, can handle me because if he can handle his home, if he can handle his family, then he can handle me.
But isn't that going against the very tenets of marriage? And if, let's say, for instance, is their preference, they're wrecking an already existing union?
That's true. Let me tell you, I do a lot of counseling weekly, right? Give or take minimum between 20 to 30 in a week. What happens is this, I've discovered most men have other women outside. Not because they want to, it's because they found themselves.
Explain that. Explain that.
Like you find yourself.
You find yourself. What happens is this. Yes. A man is married and is having some issues at home, for example. And then he has a colleague who is very nice and very tender to him, understands him, knows what he needs, and he gets a bit of refuge, a bit of peace. Because one thing that people must understand, that men don't go for love. Men don't know the language of love.
Exactly.
Men go for respect and peace. Matter of fact, when a man has peace, he can give his life. So because the pressure outside there, the world is beating the man down. He comes home, he wants peace. Then he comes home and finds this woman who does not know the language of peace. But now he goes back to the office or goes out and he meets this woman who knows how to give him peace, knows how to give him respect, knows how to handle him. Because I usually say men are small babies, men are big babies. So when he's outside there and there's this lady who can handle him well, what happens? Affair begins. By the virtue of she understands me. When I talk, she listens. She gives me the peace I'm looking for. So what happens is he ends up in the hands of another woman. He goes home, but here's somewhere he gets his peace. So what happens? Affair has begun. And that lady does not want also pressure because he knows you're married and I respect that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of you as you take care of me. You pay my bills, I take care of you, I give you peace. That's where our affairs begin. Most men find themselves. I was looking for peace, I got it.
But that sounds transactional.
It is transactional. It is transactional.
Exactly. Is that really marriage?
That's not marriage. That's what I'm saying.
Not marriage.
Most men today, most men are married, but they have somebody else who gives them what they can't get home.
But then again, whose responsibility is it for them to create that, whatever they are lacking, that environment? Whose responsibility it is?
You see, marriage is a two-way traffic. Marriage is you play your part, I play my part. It takes two to tango. So a man will do his best, but the question is this: am I getting? Is my partner reciprocating the same effect? For example, a man provides and he comes home and told you come late, and there's a quarrel. What will you do? You look for solace somewhere else.
But does age have to do with anything?
Age,
yes. When it comes to the house.
Yes, age is very key here. You see, as I'm saying, younger ladies who don't understand the dynamics of marriage, what they're looking for, what a lady is looking for in marriage is totally different from what the man is looking for. When a man gets married, he wants a place of rest. In short, the man is making progress. Marriage is part of a man's progress. But for ladies, it's not so, it's not the same. So you'll find a man who is, give or take, 35 years or 40. He has to come some goals. By this age, I should be here. By this time, I should be married. By this time, I should be having kids. By this time, I'm done. Now he has come home, and then this young lady wants us, let's do this. Let's have fun. Let's do this. That's why you find I've come to realize an older woman is more mature. There are ladies who wants to settle. All they want is just to have a family. That's all. So if they meet this guy who wants also to settle and is a bit younger and is focused and is visionary, to settle, and you'll find more peace in that union than this young marriage for young people. He has a tendency of finding more rest marrying a mature, more older woman.
Okay.
Yes.
Take for instance, Pastor Emma, a difference of 5 to 10 years. How do you blend these two personalities and make sure that if they're getting into marriage or they're in marriage, that this will work?
Thank you for that question. I think for me, how I would look at it is awareness. You see, if I'm aware that I'm getting married to a 5-year younger person than me, or 5-year older, depending on who is who, and I'm aware, like in psychology, we normally say the executive part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, matures between age 15 and 29. And after actually 25 to 29. So within that time, they think a lot, they use a lot of the emotional part of the brain. So if I'm aware, like maybe we've wedded couples who are in their early 20s, and if you are aware that this person is still maturing, you're coming into that marriage from a point of understanding. There are some behaviors that you will pick, and if you are aware, you will know where that behavior is coming from. So if you are aware of the person you're getting married to and the stage that they're in, it becomes easier to do marriage. Lack of knowledge is what makes us perish. Because, let me throw the spanner in the works. Our parents, my mom got married at 21, and my dad was 23. They were still very, very young. I don't think by that time all this research had been done about the brain development and all that, by the intentionality, like we want to start a family together. Yeah. So if they work it out, the most important thing is the commitment, the intentionality. Why am I getting married? You see, like Reverend has shared, and I know he's sharing from the experiences that he meets in the counseling room. If I decided to marry my husband, why should I, when you have a conflict, that which is saying like men want peace? Yes, I am aware you want peace, but I think it is the responsibility also of the man to sit down with the wife and discuss, in this area, I think we need to work this out, because going out doesn't justify. And is that really marriage? Because I believe marriage is a covenant. And a covenant is where you're coming in with your whole, this other person comes with their whole, then you work things out together. I always tell couples, I have brothers and sisters, one mother, one father, same blood, and we have conflict. So what makes me think that a stranger I've just met in my 20s or 30s and say I do, like there's something that has attracted me to them, who says that the conflicts will not be there? Definitely, in marriage, conflicts will always be there. But the most important thing is, how do we handle them? So for me, age doesn't really matter if you understand. And you have a discussion. The foundation has to be very strong. At foundational level, you say, you know, this is my age, this is my age. Be open about literally everything. That will help the marriage, so that even when somebody, and then also background issues. It's not only age. There are so many factors that affect marriage, like background issues. Maybe somebody is coming in with issues from the background. Maybe the first school of marriage you all see is the marriages of our parents. So that is the only way you know marriage is. But if you get knowledge and understand, how do we handle our financial management? How do you handle intimacy? How do you handle conflict? How do you handle in-laws? How do we handle communication in marriage? If you have that foundational element and you've laid down the right foundation, when all these storms will come, you will not run there to a woman or to another man who will, that emotional attachment. And that's why we all have to play our role in marriage. If I've gone to the salon on Saturday and my hair looks nice, it's my husband should tell me, hey, babes, today you look nice. But if he doesn't say that because you had a domain, then I go I come here to KBC, or you go to the office, your colleague tells you. That's how infidelity starts. It doesn't just happen like this. It's
the small things.
It's the small little things that we really need to handle in our marriages. So for me, age doesn't matter, but the two have to be in agreement.
Yes.
That this thing has to work.
Whatever you're saying is, I think it's bringing more of matters to do with emotional maturity between the two couples, regardless of age. How do they handle that? Remember, you can be part of this conversation by calling us via 0716 103301, 0716 103301, and you can also send in your WhatsApp message via the same number. Pastor Ben, the aspect of emotional maturity, it's very important when you look at it from whatever Pastor Emma has said. So if there's that age gap, regardless of whether it's a man who is older or the lady is older, how should they handle that?
Let me before I talked about that, let me bring this point here. People handle things differently. And that's one concept that every party must understand. In marriage, there's a way men handle issues. Yes. Men are not species whereby they will sit down and they give you a map. They draw, men are straight to the point. Most men tend to avoid long conversations, prolonged problems. There are ladies who want detailed, we handle things in details. That's what most of the time you'll find men get tired and they leave, and the conflict is not handled. That is why for me, if you marry somebody who is mature mentally, they will know how this person handles the problem. Because most men don't have the tenacity to sit down for 1 hour, discuss about yesterday you came late, or your mom came here and this is what happened. Men will give you concluded answers, as in concluded, I'm sorry, I did this, done. Ladies want, okay, tell me why you're sorry. Sorry from where? So, and then they'll tell you, don't tell me sorry fast. Yes. Explain your sorry.
Explain yourself.
So the moment we start, then men have this tendency, we start arguing, they shut down. Yeah. So emotional maturity is very key. That's why for me, I don't advocate for people to go out of the relationship, but you'll find most of the time, people that tend to step out, the people they talk to are slightly emotionally mature than probably the person they're living with, because the person they're living with, they don't have a system. No, this is the thing. We will not always sit down and discuss, this is how we should be doing this thing. Do you know I'm older than you, so go this way. No. When crisis come, crisis has come. How do we tackle it? Now, a lady who is more mature, according to me, will know how to handle you. Because what they do, they will learn you. In marriage, you must learn me. How do I like my things done? We're having an issue on finances. How do you understand to handle it? So I gave you 2,000. What happened? I did this. Okay, we are done. So for me, emotional maturity is important, depending also with age. There are some ladies who have who don't have that kind of maturity. Their emotions will flare. They will be angry at anything. They want to dictate your life. And so you find a man who feel like, here, not that way. But a lady who is more maturer for me, or a man who is more maturer, will go to details. Trust issues not be that much because I know where you're coming from. I know how I've surpassed this boy-girl game. Now we are at the level, but anything that comes, we're able to handle it with a lot of maturity on every area. We handle it. For me, age brings maturity. Somebody can easily argue something out or reason something out because of maturity.
Yes. Now, even as you talk about that, there's something I want you to comment on that, because when it comes to emotional maturities, there must be some level of understanding. But then again, whose responsibility is it the responsibility of the other partner to bring them to their level? In terms of understanding, if we're talking about emotional maturity?
What I've seen is happening in the marriage space, or rather even in relationships in general, even the young people who are dating, I've seen women getting married hoping to change this man. And I've seen men marrying these ladies hoping that this lady will not change. But the truth of the matter is that you can never change a person, and I'm saying this, if you're out there trying to change your man or your woman, you cannot. Change comes from within. It is me as Emma to decide I want to change for the betterment of this relationship. And also women change. Women change like because of the hormonal changes. A 20-year-old woman does not behave like a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old. They keep on changing because women are emotional human beings. Men, as Reverend is saying here, they are logical. So me as a woman, if I approach marriage and I want the man to behave like a woman, it can't work. Because the man will not understand. So each person has the responsibility of managing their emotions. Because I've also seen a 50-year-old with emotional outbursts. I've seen a 20-year-old very mature in how they reason. It's a personality thing, it's an upbringing thing, it's an intentional thing of who am I as Emma? Self-awareness. When I'm angry, how do I behave? When I'm confronted by an issue, how do I behave? So it also goes down to an individual. So the emotional maturity is an individual responsibility. So don't struggle, or rather what I can tell couples, don't ever struggle to try to change that person. As a pastor, I can say it's only the Holy Spirit that can change that person, or that person to make an intentional decision that the way I handle my emotions is affecting my marriage. I need to work on it. So each person has a responsibility in the marriage to work on themselves for the betterment of the relationship.
Yes. Yeah, the comments have started coming in, and Moja amesema, you are right, age is just a number. Hello, I'm watching from Kakamega. I'm really surprised by the Reverend comment justifying men cheating as a norm because they lack peace at home. A man is a priest. This you are going to defend yourself. Yes. A man is a priest of his home, and it is the responsibility of both parties to have a peaceful environment. This dispute of age, so when a woman lack peace, should they also cheat? Advice. They're seeking your advice. That is Irene from Kakamega. Hey, I'm Bernard from Embu. I concur with you. Age is just a number. Personally, I'm in a marriage where we have a difference of 11 years and it's working well.
Amen.
Pastor? Yes.
There's a concern here.
Am I advocating for cheating? No. I don't. The thing is this. Why do men cheat? See, this is something that we cannot run away from. Are there men that have affairs? Are the families outside? Yes, they're there. What brought that? Very simple. It began from the concept, from the way their marriages are. How they live in their homes. One of the things that is there is when you marry someone, or you're married to a man, the first thing you must understand is men don't want to love, or men don't know the language of love. No. Men know the language of respect and peace. Men are looking not to be loved. Men are looking for peace, and men are looking for respect. Now, this is what happens. When you have a partner, let's say a wife, How she respects you, how she shows it, how she talks to you, how she handles you, will tell you if there's respect or not. Now, number 2, men look for peace. Most men go to homes and you find there's a lot of noise, a lot of arguments, a lot of quarrels, a lot of, so many issues in their marriage in terms of the man does not find peace at home. So most men resort into going to drink or go watch football outside, not because they cannot talk, it's because these things they have tried. I'll repeat, I'm not advocating for that. I'm saying what happens, you find most men that have affairs outside, what they have gotten outside is what they are lacking inside.
But is that usually the case, really? Because there are those who are just...
have bad manners.
Yeah.
Those ones we can lack. But most of men that are having issues, because let me give this scenario. I told you I have my counselings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You find somebody who tells you, when I go home, my wife will start with me. When I go home, this is the issue. We've tried, I've called the family, we've tried to discuss, she's not changing. So what do? I need my peace, so I don't go home. It's not, let me say this, before somebody makes certain steps or certain moves, they have tried to work it out. So you see, for somebody to say, okay, let me do this, most of the time, they have tried systems or ways to make it work. Can it work? Yes. But the question is this, you have this person who's, for lack of better word, immature in terms of age, right? Or reasoning. So what do? You can't beat them, you don't want to break your home, so what happens?
Hold that thought, hold that thought. Let's take a commercial break. I will be right back to continue from that point.
Kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu. Mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza thamani hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafidi nchi, tunafidi watoto wetu na tunafidi Europa na tunaweka pesa mfukoni.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
On behalf of all the women in football and all the women in the country, we wish to cheer the Harambee Stars all the best in their upcoming CHAN campaign. We will be there to cheer you in the stadiums, in the TV, on the screens, on the streets. Everywhere you go, we are fully behind you. Na mkumbuke CHAN iko KBC.
Yeah, the conversation is getting heated, and the comments are coming in, actually. The comments here, let me read one or two comments here. Age doesn't matter in any relationship, may it be dating or marriage. It is a matter of acceptance, self-awareness, and putting the companionship factor a key. Mwingine anasema age doesn't really matter. Actually, men look for peace. Men look for peace. I have 2 wives. I always camp where there is peace and respect. We are praying for Kenya Stars to win. Harambee Stars. Then I think we have tackled something to do with companionship in that whole aspect, regardless of age. Because given what this comment has said, even self-awareness, we have talked about it. But there's also the aspect of life experiences. Let's say, for instance, a guy is getting married. The age difference is between, let's say, 10 to 15 years. How do life differences, experiences, inform the success of that marriage? If I may start with you.
So when we look at the age differences, I know, like as people age, things also come up. Like maybe sicknesses can come, and the body just shutting down and all that. Or maybe one person has already retired, and the other person is now at the peak of their career. But I still feel the support. You see, when marriage comes, when you come into marriage, you're coming to support one another. And maybe just to mention, as you're talking about companionship, I agree with that viewer.
Comment, yes.
I agree with that comment, because when we get married, some people think we get married because of children. Children are just byproducts. They'll be of age and they will leave. So companionship is very critical, that I'm marrying this person because there's something special about them. There's something that, there's something about them that you connect, and you want to do life together. So even if there's that age difference of 10 to 15 years, and you agreed, and you know, and you are aware. Remember, I talked about awareness in the first place, that if you are aware and you discuss in depth, that maybe as I get to 60 and you will be maybe in your 30s or 40s, these are the most likely things that will happen. So you discuss at foundational level, am I going to support you? Am I going to be, like normally we tell people in our prima class, suppose this person is in a very bad accident and they are bedridden, or they'll be using the wheelchair the rest of their lives. Will you still be their wife or be their husband? Because even when we talk about sickness and all that, I've seen nowadays even the sicknesses that we thought were for old people. Children are getting diabetes. Children are getting cancer. It's no longer determined by the age. But I think when people are cognizant of those changes that come, and I've said that I love this person and I want to spend the rest of my life with them, even when that transition season comes, I should be able to come in and support them. If it is career, and I'm young, I'm the one, and you are the one who was retired, I should come in and say, I know my husband or my wife is now at the peak of their career, and I know that I've retired, but I'll come in as a support, because when you get married, it's a whole you, Mike, with your gifts, with your talents, with your ambitions, and the lady with the same thing. So it's another whole person, and another whole person becoming another whole person. So even this thing of people saying, meet my better half, it's never a better half. I'm a whole person first, meeting another whole person. Then you complement one another. So there's that aspect of supporting people in the seasons that they are in their lives, especially in marriage. So I still will go back to understanding and awareness that despite the age differences, I will support my spouse in that as they grow in their age.
Yes.
Yes.
Pastor Ben, I will throw the same question to you about life experiences, because if there's a huge age difference, of course life experiences would be different.
Yes.
But if it's like, say, 1 to 3 years, you're almost within the same age. How does that, from your perspective, play out?
I strongly believe that life experience can really help in marriage. Make an example. A lady that has ever handled a relationship before, and probably it failed, and now comes and meets a man here who wants to marry her, or they get married, she will know probably what to do when certain conflicts or issues come up, because she has been on this road before. 2, a man who has never known how to handle a woman when she's emotionally distressed, most of the time will run away. But a man who has handled a woman in that, probably his wife, or probably a relationship before that didn't work, you will know this is what I did wrong and this thing broke. For me, I would say people that have gone through, who have been around for some time and experienced 1 or 2 things, have a tendency of handling a relationship differently and better than those who haven't. I'll give a scenario. I got married when I was very, 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 very young. I wasn't even up to 25. The issues we faced the first 5 years were enough to break that marriage. But you see now, as we matured and we lived for long, there are some issues now, even if it comes up, we laugh them through. Because now we know how to handle them. It's a terrain we have passed through. So we know how to navigate through them. So for me, people, age and life experience plays a very, very major role, you see, in relationships and marriages. That's why I say, when you marry someone who is a bit older, or somebody who is more maturer, you have a tendency of having a more solid relationship. Very solid.
Yes.
I want to add something there. Yes, you can go through life experiences, but if you don't address them, chances are it becomes a cycle.
Yeah.
I've seen people go into their first marriage, second marriage, third marriage, but because they did not handle the issue, it still trickles down. So I think it's important to seek help. If you need to go for counseling, if you need to go for mentorship, just seek help, because if you don't do that, your experiences may become a cycle. And also life experiences also in terms of how you are raised up, how you're raised, the environment that you grew up in. So it still goes back to, if you are aware of all that, as you get married, the age difference will not matter. You can still marry your age mate. You've talked about maybe 1 year or 2 years difference. If you still have issues and you even age mates, it will still affect the marriage.
Yes.
As opposed to someone, maybe they have an age difference of 15 years, but they are self-aware and have worked on themselves and is able to go into that marriage a healthy person. Because I believe marriages have no issues. People come with baggages from their background, from their past relationships, past experiences, life experiences. But if you're able to handle all that, it will be easier to maneuver or navigate marriage together.
So there's the aspect of introspection for either partners. The comments are still coming in, and let me sample some of them. Good morning, my name is Kagari Dennis, watching from Mwihoko, Kiambu. On today's topic, age in marriage really doesn't matter much. If there's mutual respect, love, and understanding, marrying an older woman often brings maturity and emotional stability and clear communication, which can make the relationship stronger. It's all about connection, not the age. Good morning. Don't mention my name, please. Pastor, it's true. Women have issues to handle their house chores. I come to help her cook. I do almost everything in the house. And on top of that, matusi na maneno chafu chafu ya sio jenga boma. Every time I come home within 30 minutes, maneno imeanza, siwezi vumilia hiyo after going through my daily work with frustration out to our working places. Hello, I'm James from Nairobi, Saika. As for age doesn't really matter. As long as there's respect, peace in the marriage, and everyone is capable of solving issues in their marriage, in most cases, older women are more mature than younger women. You know, from these comments, you can tell that age really is not a factor. What do you think has informed this, what I would call gravitated towards respect, things that matter, and age losing that quote-unquote meaning in unions nowadays?
I think what has contributed also is maybe the societal pressure in terms of, okay, people have said age doesn't matter, but there is also societal pressure if you marry a younger or an older person. But also now going back to your question, in terms of what has contributed, it's because of the way men are wired. Men are wired so differently.
Yes.
Women are also wired very differently. So unless there is that understanding by me as a woman and say, what is it that a man is looking for? A man is looking for respect. A man is looking for submission. A man is looking for peace. What does peace look like for my husband? Because peace for my husband is not your peace. They're different.
Yes.
The way your respect and his respect, because it's a very personal thing. Like maybe respect to my husband is maybe don't embarrass me in public, or but for you, respect is something else. Yesterday we had a visiting pastor from the US, and he was saying he's the one who goes to the kitchen. He's the one who cooks. The wife doesn't cook. But to someone else, you respect me if you're cooking for me and if you're serving me.
Yeah.
So it's a very personal thing. So if a man can understand that a woman needs to be loved. And you see, even the Bible, I'll bring in scripture in the book of Ephesians. The Bible says men should love their wives and women should respect their husbands. The most difficult thing for a man to do is to love. And we get this even in our classes. Somebody says, my father has never told me that I love you. He's an African father. He's never told me I love you. So you're telling me to tell my wife every day that I love you. The fact that I've married her and I didn't marry any other, ama nimemletea nyama kwa nyumba, nimempeleka out, that is love. But as a woman, I want to hear, baby, I love you.
Okay.
Maybe my love language is touch.
Yes.
So it's the role of a man now to understand the wife. How does love look for my wife?
Okay.
And then for the women out there, and even myself, how does respect look to my husband? Because it's very hard for a woman also to respect and submit. But they have to learn it. So life is about learning. So if I understand how to respect, and if he understands how to love, it becomes easier for both of them. They meet somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are out of time, but I want to give you each 30 seconds to give your closing remarks regarding this matter. Let me start with you, Pastor Ben.
Thank you. What I would say is marriage works if you work it. That's one. Number two, if you know what you're looking for in marriage, then it will work. You must learn your partner. You must know your partner. You must know what they don't like. Like, there are things, if you tell a man, there's a way they will shut down. So I agree with Pastor that you need to understand what is the language of this person. Every woman must understand the man, and the man must understand the woman. When do we talk about this? How do we handle this? When those things happen, you'll have a very seamless, flawless relationship. Age is not a factor for me. You need to know how to respect and how to love the person, and also learn how to handle the person, and the thing will work. Yes.
All right.
So for me, in closing, what I can say is that age is just a number, but as you're dating or as you're planning to get married, discuss it, yeah? Because, and also, there is nowhere where it will be written on your forehead, Emma is 10 years older than, or Mike is 10 years, it will not be written. I think the only places where we have age, like as a family pastor, I do weddings. So when we process the marriage certificates from Sharia House, that is the only place I see the ages. But every other person out there, so it's a very personal thing. So if your spouse is comfortable, discussing about your age difference, it's okay. If they are not, respect and honor one another. But also seek help. Don't justify going out there, whether you're a lady or a man, don't justify. Seek help and be able to remember the why. Why did I marry this person? Why am I in this relationship? When you understand the why, you'll work work it out. So work out your marriages. It's a beautiful thing, as Reverend has said, and it's the only relationship that is it should be unconditional. I'm not marrying you because of this, but it's an unconditional thing. Okay. So seek help if you need to seek help, but discuss. And if you feel like I can't marry an older person, it is okay. Yeah. It's a personal decision. Yes. Yes.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Pastor Emma and Pastor Bernard, for coming to talk about this very important issue, especially when it comes to union of marriage, or the institution of marriage. And also, thank you to you, viewer, for keeping it KBC, keeping it Good Morning Kenya, and sending in your views regarding this conversation. This is where Good Morning Kenya wraps up the events of today. Let's see you again tomorrow morning on this same channel. My name is Mike Migwe. On behalf of my colleagues, have yourself a great morning.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports,
drama. We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
to keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news, and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set for Chan 2024. Please watch out for every thrilling goal, every breathtaking moment on our radio stations, on our TV platform, and all on our social media pages. Chan iko KBC.
Siku to walk onto the field. The fans expect that they will get some very good feed. It's a big roar of approval, and I can tell you it's for the Kenya national side, Harambee Stars, more than it is for the Angolan side, the Palancas Negras. The Black Panthers playing against the Harambee Stars. Under probably one of the most beautiful skies in Africa.
Harambee Stars managed to salvage a 1-1 draw against the Palanca Negros of Angola in a tense Group A second-round match at Kasarani, despite being reduced to 10 men to take control of the group with 4 points.
Benny McCarthy, man who has won the UEFA Champions League with FC Porto, that time a little-known club, coached by Jose Mourinho. Good ball down on the left side, the crosser is cut out. And at least we are seeing an Angolan side that has come with a mean intention this time round. It's showing right from the beginning. Eddie Afonso brings it all the way back to his last man, Joaquim Balanga Kinito. A creative playmaker for the side. And who also plays for Petro Atletico. Passing on the ball as the last man for the Petro Atletico side. They're leaving one man in the midfield to be the fulcrum, to take the balls up at the front. Miguel is the man who's doing that job. Another good 1-2 combination by Palencia. Brings it onto the right side to Afonso. That's a good string of passes by the Angolan side now. Push back into the midfield. And then they opt to build it again now. Those in the know will tell you that football is probably 60% to 70% passing. Here's another good shot here. Just the connection that doesn't go straight towards goal. Antonio Chitanga, known as Hosi, gets a feed off Joao Dogoro from the left side. Quick instincts of Hosi, gets him onto the ball, but not on target. Hosi is one of the players who played at the COSAFA Championships, winning it for their side. 6 cups that he's got to his credit. Another chance for the Angolan side, turning in the defender. Oh, they still have the ball on the right side. Chitanga, Hosi. Bayern has a touch on it. Just a quick recovery is the one that helps out. Again, Angola trying to run rings into the Harambee Stars defense. This is going to go out for a throw-in. Some very quick action from the Angolan side. Quite far from the very slow-paced game that we saw them depict at the Nyayo Stadium when they played their first game against Morocco. So it could have just been a strategy. Hosi lifted this one into the box. Bayern had a touch on it. Gonçalves knows that should have been that chance that would have turned the game into the favor of the Angolan side. there's one thing that the Kenyan side will say they have today, it's again the benefit of an almost full to capacity stadium. Quite unexpectedly during the week, here is a turn, putting it onto the left footer. No, it's beaten. Angola will draw the first blood. And it is Joaquim Palencia who opens the scores at the Moi International Stadium for the Palancas Negras. Quite a celebration for them as well. The 29-year-old who previously played for Cape Town City, Joe Palencia, gets a very, very sweet delivery from the right side that came off some very good work by Barnaby Thomas, who's been given the first start in this one. Places it right at the foot of Joaquim Palencia. The goalkeeper is beaten, the defender is beaten as well. The scoreline is 1-0 in favor of the Angolan side. Oh, Gonçalves couldn't hide his joy at all. Scoring the first goal for the Angolan side at the African Nations Championships. And a massive celebration for the side. They played a little bit cautiously with the Moroccan side. This one. An attempted a clearance, but a very good through ball coming from the midfield. Again, very quick action from Kenya's Harambee Stars. With Edward Omondi getting a start in today's game and being the man who was being put through. This is good out of play for a throw-in. The fans of Harambee Stars expecting a little more from the side as they start the build-up. Abu Damar plays for Kenya Police, and a very traveled player, Abu Damar, also the captain of the Kenyan side. Is left it to Sylvester Ahono to play it up at the front. They are still trying to get Edward onto the ball. Who turns it back? Oh well, the referee says nothing doing here. The fans would think that Alcino Diabo, who scored the goal against the DR Congo, was fouled in the box. And I think in their minds they think that this should be subjected to a VAR check. But play continues on the field. And until there's any other action, you'd assume that that is what should have happened. The referee stops it. It's going to be VAR checked. But just remind you again, 4 instances in which the VAR is used to check for a goal that maybe should be given and that was not given, or a penalty that could have happened and did not happen, or a handball that could have been or not. Edward Omondi had a touch on this ball, brings it, and then Alcino Diabo was turning onto his left foot. The VAR check is going to be done. The fans expect the best, but it can happen. It can go in any other direction. It's the interpretation that will matter. Dahane Beida is the VAR referee from Mauritania, and Akona Zenith of the Republic of South Africa. There's a little bit of a tap on the ankles on the back with the tackle coming from behind. And that's what they'll be checking for. Alfonso Marquez, known as Mafuta, would have had that contact that gets Alcino Diabo onto the ground. Yeah, it comes with the pain as well. But probably the most painful part would be if it's not given. If it is given, it will be painful to the Angolans. But it will hurt so good probably for the Harambee Stars. I think the referee is coming back onto the field. He's going to give his interpretation of the VAR check. It's a goal! And the Harambee Stars are flung back into the game. He was turning on his left foot, similarly to what he did the last time when he scored the goal against the Congo Democratic Republic. Oh, I think it's been given out for a penalty. I beg your pardon then. Sorry, it's been given out for a penalty. Pardon the excitement that comes with that kind of decision at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. The Harambee Stars will get a chance to redeem themselves. Ryan Ogam is getting into position. He's asking for the ball. It doesn't come to him. That would probably be the last chance that the Harambee Stars would have had to check the fortunes of this game. Chipped into the box, headed out, and Angola will get the last-minute call in this game. The defense just a little bit lopsy here. And the celebration is taken all the way to the fans as the Harambee Stars will be down and desolate for that very last-minute goal that comes out of Angola. It looked to have been very well settled with just about a minute remaining in added time. But that striker by Capuro will certainly be the heartbreaking one. Chipped nicely in, and Capuro shows why he's an experienced talent on the Angolan side. Joao Chinganda Manya Capuro will be the man to be toasted by the Angolan side this evening. His long header looked like it was going to go off the field of play, and just because the muscles and the concentration is relaxed at that time, they just do not get to go onto that ball. Well, after the VAR check, it's been ruled out. It's not a goal. What a game at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Hello, my name is Musa Otieno, former Harambee Stars captain. I just want to let you know that CHAN is in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. And if you cannot go to the stadium, you can watch it at KBC. Hashtag CHAN Eco KBC.
A very good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sports Check
on this Monday morning. It is the 11th day of August 2025. Well, it is a day when Kenya is on a high, but also a big conversation about the speedy sale of tickets to do with CHAN 2024. That's one of the conversations that we are going to be having this morning. And also, we're going to be having a conversation, and this is about the Athletics Kenya 2025-2026 season. It has started already with an Athletics Kenya cross-country meeting held in Machakos over the weekend. And the reason why the season has started early is that there's going to be an interruption due to the World Athletics Championships that will be taking place in Tokyo, Japan, and this is in September. Remember that we still have got a few Diamond League meetings, and after they're done is when we get into that. So athletes will have to balance between track, the roughs, the cross country, and also for the World Championships for those who are there. So I'll build up to that with Barnaba Korir. That's what we're going to be taking a look at. And also another story that we are going to be focusing on, and this is about a symposium that is being held by the National Treasury, and it is about the public-private partnership, and the subject is delivering on Kenya's infrastructure development. And to address that will be the Principal Secretary to the National Treasury,